All right. We're live right now on YouTube and Facebook, and we're about to go live on Instagram. And there we go. We're live in there too. Okay, cool. All right. Welcome, everyone. I have a very awesome, unique, talented guest on today. Would you say hello, Shannon?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes. And so, as you guys might have seen, I started just in the last week or two doing our like patient spotlight these videos, interviews, and we have so many people crushing it, not just losing fat but regaining their health back. And so I love doing these interviews, and I have realized that most of my patients are, I never really knew this, but they're incredible business owners and entrepreneurs and helping people and coaches. And so I wanted to you know, utilize this time to be able to sort of allow our patients to be able to talk about what they do. So first of all, Shannon, would you let me know, where are you in the Fast 40 program and what's your results here?
Yeah, so I finished the first 40 days and I'm on day 52 because I just kept going with the program. It was so good and so beneficial that I just wanted to keep going and it's easy to do. So I'm on day 52.
Day 52. Okay. So what's your weight loss results?
Yep. So I lost 19.4 pounds. And on inches, I'm down 14 inches. So in different pant size and dress size and the whole thing, it's fantastic.
19.4 pounds. I want to make sure that people hear this. And when she said in 50 something days, 20
Mhm.
pounds. So to make this a reality for people and really they had to sit in, the average weight loss, even with well-known weight loss programs, is anywhere from a half pound to a pound per week. So 19 pounds would take a very long time. Most people that I talk to can't lose 15 pounds in an entire year, much
Yeah.
less almost 20 pounds. So this is incredible. I want to know, how did you do that, Shannon? Like what was the program like for you?
Well, one of the great things about the program is it's really easy to follow. You do your protein, your vegetables, your fruit, and that was a big difference for me. And I didn't ever feel like I was really struggling with, restricting myself. And as long as you eat enough, which I learned a very good lesson about eating enough. I'm sure we'll talk about it, but I never really felt restricted. So I've been eating my protein, my vegetables, and my fruit. And then, of course, taking out a lot of the stuff that you recommend, but it's an easy program to follow.
Yes, and that you so that's beautiful to hear. So that is something I want to dive right into, is your learnings. Like, yeah, let's go right into that. Like, what did you learn? Because you just said something really weird. You lost 20 pounds and you had to eat more. I'm confused. What do you
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I was really confused too, and my husband was like, "Oh my gosh, like you're eating more than me at sometimes." But it was a really interesting thing to see that I shouldn't be starving. We talked and communication with you has been so good and you really help all of the participants every single day. You're checking in with them. And that was really helpful because I could say, hey, this is what I did yesterday, or I'm not understanding, why I'm feeling this way or this is happening. And you're really good about being able to communicate and go, hey, this is why, and connecting those dots. And one of the big ones for me was not eating enough. And probably the biggest one, I craved sugar so bad before I started this program. I mean, every single day I was eating sugar, tons of it. I always have to have a treat or a snack at night. And I learned on this program that, those sugar cravings, because I thought, okay, after a couple weeks, if I haven't eaten sugar, it's just going to go away. I'm not going to have that sugar craving. And you said, no, you're craving sugar because you didn't eat enough. And so I wasn't eating enough food initially, those couple days when I started craving
Mm.
sugar again. And then as soon as I made sure that I was eating the right ounces for my body and what I needed, I didn't crave sugar. So you're not missing that thing. You're not in this constant like starving and craving for sugar.
Mm. Man, I'm really hoping that people are listening to what you just said, because this is the opposite of what people have been told, and
Yeah.
you've got to see it. And when you first started the program, I had mentioned I spend most of my time forcing people to eat enough so they can finally lose the weight. And
Yeah.
the only reason that that is the case is because we actually reset your hormones back to what they're supposed to be. So you've got a little bit of a competitive advantage, with someone listening to this, because I have heard that. You know how many times I've heard that, Dr. Golman? I'm eating more than my husband, and I'm down 4 dress sizes. It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense, right?
Right.
So big one, right? The big one. So I love what you're saying there, and for you to notice. So now you will take this with you. You're like, okay, don't let myself get hungry. Um,
Mhm.
but we don't do that by suppressing your hunger. We do it by feeding your hunger.
Yeah.
So, right. So hunger and appetite has been made a negative thing to women in general.
Yeah, and the other really interesting thing is it kept me from snacking. So, if I ate enough at lunch and I ate enough at dinner, so I'm eating twice a day, at 1 o'clock and at 7 o'clock, that's all I eat. I don't snack ever throughout the day. I don't feel the need to. I'm not having those, cravings for cookies or chips or anything like that because I'm full when I eat and that lasts me until it's time to eat again.
Yes. Yes, exactly. It's such a big thing. And we have someone watching who just said they were like, I just saw this. They said they were 713 pounds down to 207 from eating the carnivore diet in 3 years. And I thought that's quite interesting, right?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that. Someone just was watching and said, I would love to share this with you, right? So very interesting to see this is the false. A lot of what I find myself doing with people is debunking false beliefs. And
Mhm.
most of these beliefs have been taught to people by our medical system.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what's recommended for someone like you right now, Shannon, by the medical doctors to lose weight. It's a diabetic injection, which
Mhm.
causes osteoporosis, gastroparesis, and literally many people are now having the gallbladders removed. That is our medical. So I don't mind. I'm becoming this, like, I don't mind being this voice of truth, speaking out against this crap because I'm tired of it. And I want women to be empowered. The whole process of the medical community is disempowering women to think that their body doesn't have what it needs to become healthy again.
Well, I'm so glad that you're talking about that and really coming to it because when I started this program, my left knee was sore all the time. I had just gotten, maybe 4 months before this, a hip injection, a steroid injection in my hip because I was having hip problems constantly to where it hurt to walk. And I had so much inflammation in my body from the food I was eating. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to get these injections all the time. I'm going to have to go on some sort of weight loss diet because I just don't know how and can't do it myself. And I felt like my body can't do it myself. I've been trying all these things. You and I talked about, I had a personal trainer for a year. I worked out
Wow.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for a year.
Oh my God.
And you were like, and how much weight did you lose? I didn't the
Oh my
whole
God.
time. 'Cause we were arguing about me having to stop working out for 40
Yes, yes,
days, and
yes,
you were like, "Well,
yeah.
how much have you lost in a year?" "Nothing." So and not that you encourage people not to work out,
Yeah.
but it was I had to get my body to understand how to eat for weight loss, what my body needed on a daily basis, and eating healthy foods, and that completely changed. I don't have hip problems anymore, my knee doesn't hurt, I feel fantastic.
Oh my God, that's music to my ears to hear. Because yes, it's like, yeah, so this is so people listen to this is so you ate meat, vegetables, and fruits, and you ate on time,
Yeah.
and you ate enough so you weren't hungry. That's important. And you stopped working out and you lost all this fat. And one of the reasons that I wanted you to do that was because I already knew if we had you working out, we would have to call this the slow 40
Yeah.
because it would take you forever to lose this weight because you didn't never realize how much food you needed. Imagine if you went to work out, right? And when you do, you'll realize how much more you need to be eating, right?
Yeah.
So that's really a big thing. And then keep in mind, going to the gym 20 pounds lighter, what's the result of that on your joints, on your back?
Mhm.
And this is one of the main reasons people think that disease and illness comes with age is because they've gained excess weight and they're going to work out, but it's like you might as well strap a 20-pound dumbbell to you and go work out. It's stressful for the body.
Yeah, I mean, even just normal things. I love the picture. I have it in my WhatsApp. That's how you connect with everyone. And I have the picture because there was a day I lost, like in a day, I lost 1.2 pounds or something. And you
Oh.
sent me the picture of you holding up that pound of fat. I think that should be on everything,
Yeah, yeah.
Dr.
Yeah,
Golman, because
here it is. It's
yes.
the pound of
Oh,
fat. Yes, that's
so
a
I think
pound, right?
yeah, it's so encouraging to see that though, and like as a reminder, because there's some days where you're not going to lose a pound in a day. But if you think a half pound, point 0.4, how
Exactly.
much when you're looking at that, like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that's coming off my body.
exactly. It's one of the reasons I do that, because people get spoiled in the fast 40 because the pound is a lot, but you turn it into half is like, that's like a ton. And then even 0.25 pounds, you're like, that came off your body. It's 0.25 pounds, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for reminding me about that. Um,
But it's like no
what
wonder it's easier to move around,
yes.
to move around and do normal things.
What has been, so I know you mentioned a few things. What are the health things you've noticed from resetting your hormones and losing 19 pounds?
Mhm. One big one, I have rosacea and it always shows. I mean, my cheeks are typically just bright red. And I'm constantly putting on makeup and trying to cover it up. And just something that I've been dealing with for the last couple years. Cause of course it didn't come until I started gaining all the weight and having all the inflammation in my body and all the other symptoms that were showing up. And I feel like that's one of them. And since then, my skin is so much
Mm,
it looks so much better. It's clearer. My rosacea, I mean, it's still there a bit, but it is calmed down so much. I also had eczema on my legs. That's gone. So, I mean, I was so surprised at the difference. My nails are growing.
yeah.
You can just see it everywhere.
This is, and listen, if whoever's listening to this, you don't get those results when you inject your body with a
Mm,
chemical like Ozempic or Wegovy or Zepbound to lose weight. Matter of fact, you don't hear anyone saying, wow, I feel amazing. Like literally, I get on the phone with patients who have lost 10 pounds over 6 months taking this injection, and they've lost muscle. So that's important. Someone
yeah.
hear this, is that Shannon has lost 19 pounds of fat, not muscle. When you
Mhm.
lose muscle, you feel just terrible. When you lose fat, and more importantly, when you reset your hormones, and Shannon, you don't have to tell me your age if you don't want to, but at your age, right?
Mhm.
It's very interesting because so many women have been told by their doctor that this is because you're a woman and you've turned 40, 50, 60. I'm, like I said, this is ridiculous. I want to rewire this for women. That is not the case. Disease and fat does not come with age.
Mhm. I literally had that happen to me when I was going to the doctor because I kept having the hip problems and kept just feeling like, oh, I don't feel good. I'm constantly tired. I've always got this pain in my hip where it's hard to walk. And I mean, I also had, where I would get super dizzy and, um, I went to the
Mm,
doctor and they
wow.
were like, "Well, this happens, at your age." I'm
Oh my God.
51, by the way,
Okay.
and
Okay.
it was like, well, at this age, basically like, yeah, all these things start to happen. And I was given well, just keep up with your diet and exercise. And for one, the diet part, no one said, "Well, what is that?" Like, "Well, what do I do?" And then
Mhm.
the exercise, kinda same thing, and I was thinking, "I've been exercising for a year. It's not helping." And in fact, my hip is hurting so much that there were times where I had to stop.
My God. Thank you for saying this, Shannon, because it's one thing for me to sit here and say, yes, this is what's happening when women go to the doctor, and I hope it really sets in. And you're a real life example of hearing this. It's ridiculous.
Mhm,
I don't know what's happening, except I know that our medical doctors are very caring, they're great, but they are being taught incorrect information. There's no other way for me to say it. Is they're not being taught how the body works. and
Mm.
women really get the brunt of medical education.
Yeah.
Our doctors should be teaching you how your body works. That is my mission. I want you to know how your body works, right? So this is huge. Shannon, what has been the result in your life, mentally, emotionally, relationships, like of losing this weight?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just in general, it feels good. Like there's no piece of cake that is as great as like putting on those jeans that have been in the back of your closet for a long time and going, "Oh, I can sit down in these jeans and I can feel good about it." So, that certainly, is something that keeps you going and is a boost, but I every day I would think about this, Dr. Golman. Like every day I'd go, "Oh gosh, if I could just lose this weight, if I could just lose this weight." And I run my own business, and so having that also like wanting to be on social media and doing some of the things that are required of me to get the word out, to be out there, I didn't want to do. I didn't want to show up on camera. I don't feel good. I don't look good doing podcast interviews. I have my own show. I didn't want to do those things. And
Wow.
so it really, I was embarrassed by it. And that has completely changed to where I'm not thinking about it's not the first thing I think about in the morning at all.
Mm, mm. Wow. Wow. I'm really feeling that. I swear you said, did you say when you started this, no piece of cake tastes as good as fitting in my
Yeah.
clothes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I
It
said,
doesn't.
that's really good. I really like that a lot. Um, and it's interesting to see the impact. So many women during COVID, I watched society become fatter and accept it.
Mhm.
As Target got plus size models, Victoria's Secret got plus size models on their mannequins. And I thought, this is interesting. I started watching this going, this is interesting. And that was part of the message was, listen, it's okay. Just love your fat. And that was the message that I've been very adamantly against. If you love your fat, you're going to die soon.
Yeah.
Stop
Yeah.
loving your fat and start loving yourself. One of the most loving things you can do is get the fat off your body because it's slowing you down. It's causing cardiovascular problems and it's causing other issues. So I love for you, this means getting on camera. It means promoting your business. It means having the confidence to help other women.
Yeah. I mean, and that is the thing. You were talking about you're going to die early, and that's stressful. I knew, as sick as I felt,
Ugh,
as, my hip was hurting constantly, my knee was hurting, it felt hard to get around. I could tell that my body was not in good shape, and to keep all that inflammation in your body and have it for that long, it's not good for you. And
yeah.
that's a real scary thing to go, "Oh my gosh, I could die from this. I'm definitely gonna die sooner. I can
Yep.
feel it that I'm not healthy."
Yep. I love that you're aware of that. And not just dying, but also having a slow, poor quality of life is what
Yeah.
most people have is a slow death, truly.
Yeah.
So this is a good lead in because I want to know, as part of why I do this with our patients, is I know that you have a specific program to
Mm.
help women. And this is such a cool topic. When you told me, I said, I want to talk to women about this, but it's about insecurity and jealousy in your relationship. And I think this is such a good tie-in because I have so many women when they have excess fat, they are insecure in themselves. And and they literally are, they don't realize it's because of that. So they just wear baggier clothes and they don't talk to their husband as much. And so I thought that was kind of a cool topic. So tell me, how'd you get into this and what do you do?
Mhm. So, yeah, I coach women on insecurity and jealousy in their relationship, and this insecurity, yeah, it can show up everywhere, and when you are waking up in the morning thinking about your weight, thinking about, "Oh my gosh, I don't feel good, I don't look good, I don't wanna be intimate with my partner, I'm embarrassed," all of those things, you're not focused on doing what you wanna do in life. And I love the part in your program because you have, we're constantly watching videos in the Fast 40 and timed videos. And one of them is some energy work that you do because if we've got trauma that's there in our body, or if we've got something that we're just holding on to, yeah, it makes it hard for us to lose weight. And so that does tie into this insecurity and jealousy that a lot of us deal with, and sometimes we don't want to talk about it. So
Mhm.
I grew up, my father was an alcoholic. It was a very violent and chaotic environment. And he left at the time I was 12, and I just kinda grew up thinking, "Oh, if my own dad doesn't love me, who else?
Mm.
Nobody else is going to. I must not be worthy of love." And you
Hmm.
carry that into your adult relationships. And
Mhm.
so, of course, if I'm having these negative thoughts about myself, I'm gonna it's gonna show up in all areas of my life. If I don't feel like I'm worth it, I'm not gonna work on my body. I'm not gonna feel like I'm worth figuring out how to eat healthy and, you know, take care of myself, and I'm going to struggle in my relationship. And so
Mm. Wow.
sometimes for some people that shows up as jealousy and insecurity. So I started coaching women. I coach one-on-one, and I have group programs where I coach women through that process and how to manage it.
Wow. So this is really like, and I can appreciate your history, because this is a part of a lot of times people, we end up coaching and helping others with things that we've had challenges with.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
that's, well, in other words, a different way of saying that is we tend to value where we've had voids. So if
Mhm.
there's a void of love, we tend to value love. That's what creates
Yeah.
this, really. That's what that, and so that's quite interesting. And so then, like, with what you do you do one-on-one coaching? Do you have a program? Like, how does that work? And
Mhm.
with women?
Yeah. So I do one-on-one coaching, that's available, and then I also have a trust building boot camp that is a group coaching program, which, jealousy and insecurity is a really hard topic sometimes for people to talk about. They don't wanna say, "Oh, I've been looking at my partner's phone, or I've tracked them on location, or I'm constantly worried about them," but this is something that really is a hindrance in people's lives, and it shows up. You're not being present in your life. You're not If you're constantly thinking about what your partner's doing or feeling insecure in the relationship, you're not focused on spending time with your kids. You can't focus at work. You're not focused with friends and family. And you're certainly not putting in that, energy into yourself to make sure that you're healthy.
Mhm.
So, it's something that really a lot of women struggle with, and they don't have anywhere to go to talk about it, especially the jealousy piece. Because sometimes
Mm.
they'll talk about it, and people who don't understand or don't experience it are like, "What are you worried about? Nothing's happened yet." There's
Yeah.
nothing going on. What are you worried about? Which makes them feel even more alone.
Mhm. Yeah, very much minimizing it. And from listening to what you said, are you, and you tell me, but are you seeing a lot of what you've seen with jealousy and insecurity really comes from the ability to love self
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
inability?
The inability to love self. Like I said, we start telling ourselves these stories from either these experiences that happen. We say repetition plus emotion programs life's commotion. That's how that happens. And so these
That's good.
repetitive things that maybe we witness or we hear, we experience, and then we start to tell this story just like I did. Oh, I must not be worthy of love. So if we've got that programming in there that I'm not worthy of love, all of your decisions, all of your behaviors are going to come from that belief. And so in this coaching program, we go in and we say, okay, if we want to change the behavior, we have to change the belief. And so
That's so good.
taking someone from
I
that
Yeah, I love the repetition plus emotion equals life's commotion.
programs life's commotion. That's how it gets
Programs
programmed.
life's commotions.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's so
Hmm.
good. That's so good.
Yeah.
Who is your, like, the ideal person that you work with?
Mhm. So I typically work with women. My podcast, which is called Top Self, it's geared towards women. I speak to women in that, although I have male coaches or male clients as for coaching, but I mostly speak to women who are in relationship who probably had some dysfunction growing up. A lot of times that's where, these different programs come into play from 0 to 8 years old. That's really our formidable years where we're starting to create these stories based on whatever may be going on. In my case, sometimes my dad was really nice and loving, and sometimes he was super scary. So I couldn't really trust that love. Like, is this going to be a good thing? Is it scary? I don't know. And so it's typically women who have come from some dysfunction in their background that are struggling with this jealousy and insecurity in their relationship. So these women are looking at their partner's phone, they're reading their email, checking their location services, things like that, that they're in a habit now of doing.
That makes sense. I was the same thing with, like you mentioned, what you do works for both men and women, but you tend to, I wonder if it's for the same reason. Like I have men in my program who lose tons of fat and feel healthy, but I mainly speak to women because women tend to take care of themselves before men do. Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah. I mean, they wanna figure it out, right? I
Yeah.
wanna
Yeah.
feel
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
better. I wanna make
Right.
improvements, and
Yeah.
they're usually more apt to seek help.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. I love it, and this is so fun because Shannon, I've got to talk to you, and I know you from our WhatsApp messages, but I didn't really get to know what you really do. So I love hearing this. Um,
Yeah.
any other message you want to kind of pass off to someone, and if someone's looking to, like, if they're hearing you and they're going, man, I'd like to like work with you. What do they do?
Well, they can go to topself.com. That's my website. Or they can follow me on Instagram at topselfcoach. And I have a free discovery call that people can book, and we can talk about different ways that they can get in the coaching program and different ways that I can help.
Oh, very cool. And I like that you have the group coaching and individual. Yeah,
Mhm.
and this such a great topic because it is something that most people don't want to talk about. And if we were to really be honest right now, and if we're really to be brutally honest, every single person has jealousy and insecurity.
Mhm.
There is no one who doesn't have this. So there's no human on the planet that doesn't have jealousy or insecurity without security. These both come as polarities.
Yeah.
So insecure is the polarity of secure. So just as much as you think you're secure, you're going to have insecure parts. These parts are always equal. So this is an important thing to understand. And I think to actually own and love these parts of self make a massive difference. So thank you much for sharing that, and thanks for sharing your journey and what you've done. I love this conversation.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I mean, this literally changed my life, the way I eat, how I feel. So I just want to say thank you to you. And you're not just helping women with their weight loss. I mean, you are talking about these things throughout the day. Like, hey, are you stressed? What's going on? Even separate than what did you eat yesterday?
Exactly. It's funny because that's the world that I came from. Was like I was teaching literally quantum physics and metaphysics seminars long before this. And so, but then I realized people, that's kind of a lot for people to process. So it was like, hey, let me first get them to like get back in a healthy body. And then you've seen the framework I work with is like, let me help you with your mind, walk through the emotions. Most people have never even felt truly dropped into feeling an emotion. And so it's a nice
Yeah.
process to go through.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so
That's fun.
much.
Yes, you got it. Thank you for being on. And I, oh, by the way, your posts, I love that post you did in the group. So amazing. So I'm here if you need anything. Let me know.
All right. Thank you.
All right. And I'll see you.